again, wanted to leave plenty of time this morning because we have a most special guest on this morning, and you've all been getting the emails this week. Mr. Marshall Wayland, our guest of honor. And Marshall is the only company managing partner. He is the highest level in the company. And last week, his entire hierarchy did over $500,000, $533,000 of business. On track this year, looks like to do well over $40 million in business. And so Marshall is an equity partner, one of the originals in the founding of the company, Direct Symmetry. And Marshall, I am so honored to have you on this call this morning. I'm excited. This is the first time we've actually had you on a Menifee Agency call, and we've got a lot of new tune in from some brand new people. So we're excited to have you here. Welcome to the Menifee Agency call.
Well, Chris, thanks a lot. Can you hear me okay, buddy?
I gotcha.
Very good. I have a lot of internet issues, so I wanted to use my phone today. So sorry if I'm jerking around a little bit, but hey, man, it's an honor to be on your all's call, and hopefully I'll be asked back. I tell you, it's great to be able to sit down and talk with y'all, because I know you guys are out there in the dog fight, going out and getting it done, and I just love seeing that, because I remember so many fun times that I had, several years ago, and how it just grew and grew and grew and just kept growing to the point where now it's just out of control, and I really just don't want it to stop. So I just kind of stay away from it because I don't want to screw anything up to make it stop. So
right. So like I said, we've got a new tune-in factor. You touched on it, but for those who haven't heard your story before, I mean, obviously, like I said, top of the company, on track to do over $40 million. Someone new hearing that might assume you kind of came in with a head of steam and maybe a large team and blew the doors off of this day one. But how was your startup in the business in real life?
Well, it was probably a lot like everybody else. You have the struggle, and then victory. And I don't know of too many people in here that came in and just got victory right off the bat. It's a lot of work. But it's worth it. This is my 7th year in this business. The first 3-4 years was just putting money back into the business so that I could survive, so that, the first rule of business is to stay in business. And as long as you can survive and get your bills paid and also reinvest in your business, that's by far is the most important thing, is reinvest back in that business, because that's going to pay you off 1,000 times forward. And, really that's what I did, is pretty much put everything back in my business. I was pretty well broke when I came here. So it really didn't matter that I was any more broker. I just kept, going wherever I needed to go to get things done. And back, it was pretty much just an East Coast company. So I was fortunate enough to talk to Brandon and Casey, and they were blessed enough to say, well, there's a whole lot of leads potential in like the St. Louis, Kansas City, Phoenix, and Detroit area. So I did something silly, and I went ahead and put GMRs in those cities, and expecting that I'd have a lot of recruits and it'd be real easy to recruit there, and that I would get people there day one. And you know what? It didn't happen day one. It was a lot of work. Had a lot to, I went into a city, ran leads Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then did a business opportunity meeting on Thursday. And sometimes those meetings were only 2, 3, 4 people in those meeting halls. So it was a little rough at times. Now it's a little bit more fortunate where you can just drive people to those locations. With all the agency owners and people doing meetings all across the country. I kind of really wish I was recruiting now than I was long time ago. That's for sure. I think it would have been faster.
That's interesting, and you touched on something, because sometimes we'll hear an agent that looking at leads, and they'll tell me, well, I don't know if I can buy those leads because they're I'm gonna have to drive an hour and a half, and you literally flew across the country to run leads to build your business, and I think that speaks a lot to the belief and the willingness and the commitment to build an empire. You can't do it in your backyard always.
Yeah, absolutely. If if you're thinking that every lead's going to be right down the street from you, this might not be the position for you. It's always nice for you to know that, hey, you know what? If I could tell you where there's going to be a $5,000 bill underneath a rock, but you're going to have to drive 1,000 miles to it to get it, are you going to do it? And the answer is always yes, you are. And that's what happened to me, and that's what happened to guys that first came on board with us, like the Jacob or the Rob Puckett, Larry Griffin, and Larry Spoth. They knew that they just couldn't just stay at home all the day. They had to go out and get it because we didn't have hardly any leads whenever we started, so we had to go fight for them. And now you guys are blessed to have at least some bonus leads, even if you don't have A leads every day popping up in your area. You're just so lucky and blessed that Cemetery is where they're at now, that they do have a lot. But guys, man, if this is your belief, this was what my belief was. My belief, one wholeheartedly, was this system's going to work. All I had to do was work it. And if I was willing to put a couple years into it, I believe this was going to happen. And now to see how my life is now, Chris, it's stupid. I mean, it's just literally stupid. I've never thought it would get this good, to be honest with you. And the thing of it is, Chris, anybody on this line can go do it themselves also. It's not a mystery. It's not a secret. It's just following the four cornerstones. It's doing what our system tells you to do consistently, day in, day out. And if you do that, you can't help but win. You look at the Jacob Pogues, the Ryan Millers, you look at all these champions that have came through the system. All they've done is followed the system day in, day out. And now look at them, making $500, $600, $700, $800 million a year. It's crazy that people don't just stick with it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So what if it takes them 5 years, 6 years, 7 years to get to the point where they're free? What is your definition of freedom? Is it 100,000 a month coming in? Is there 10,000 a month coming in passively? What's your idea of freedom? If it took me 5 years to get 10,000 a month of passive income that comes in, if that's what you want, you can go get it. But put your foot down. Go make it happen now. Because I tell you what, this company is gonna bust with all the new things coming out. I can't, you think that your family bank and the Everbank and all the other new projects that are coming out are good. Oh my, the advisory board has a lot more good things coming, and this company, and Casey said there a couple of weeks ago, it's going to springboard to a $300 million company. So all I'm saying is go grab yourself a piece of that pie right now. Get on the recording bandwagon. Get people to the Tucson conference. That's the best way to recruit, is to get them there. Even if you've got to sponsor people, give them a ticket, get them there. That's the best way to recruit somebody. And you recruit somebody that's at a big event, that's where they're going to make a big decision. So, and that's always been the way that our entire organization has grew, Chris, is just getting people to other big events. Because it wasn't me selling the business. I've never sold this business. All I've done was get people to events. That's who wins.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, and you kind of touched on this, but I think for a lot of people who are, coming along in this business, and maybe they just started, or maybe they've been here a few months, or maybe a year or two, and they feel like they're just kind of, pedaling a bicycle through mud, and the idea of reaching to a level of Marshall Wayland or Edward Pritchett at the very top of the company, is there room at the top for more people to join you, or maybe even pass you?
Absolutely. There is ways to pass me, and I would love that. That's, to me, my goal right now is to bring more and more people up. Financially, I don't need anything. I'm very blessed, and I have the best friends in the world that I work with. So me right now is helping people come to the top, come up higher than the top. And the way our pay system is changing, you can make a whole lot more money than I can, or Edward. So we love that opportunity. We love that option. And we like that if you go out and work it now, you will make more money than me. It's, again, it's not about the money. Money is truly a byproduct once you get to a point in life that it's not a necessity. And I hope that y'all realize that, everybody on this line realizes that it's not about the money. It's about helping each and every one of y'all get to the top. And like I said, if you're new and you're thinking that you can't afford to come to the convention, well, that's exactly why you need to be there. You need to do everything in the world to get there, because that's where you're going to learn everything you need to know about this business. And guys, the percentages are true. 95% of the people that come to the convention are going to stay there for 6 months. That's the 5% that don't show up. They're not going to be here in 6 months. Guys, make the decision that you're going to believe in symmetry. And that's really the biggest thing for me, is that first cornerstone is the belief. If you totally believe this system's going to work, then go work it. And that's the other one, is do an excessive amount of work at the beginning. And you'll be so surprised at how little work you do 5 years from now, that's for sure. If you call this work. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you've touched on conference. Now I'm curious. Obviously, so this, for those who are brand new, in the past, conference has always been ran from symmetry level, so to speak. It's kind of always been at the top. Now Marshall Wayland has a conference with his name attached to it, and it's still going to be a huge event. In fact, it's going to be. I was thinking the other day, Marshall. Your conference is going to be the size, or maybe even a little bit bigger than when I first started in the business. And we thought that was just, that was, blowing the roof off then, and it was for where we were as a company. But that's a testament to what your hierarchy has grown to just in a short period of time. What, so obviously this is your show, so to speak. You got a lot of input and a lot of behind the scenes that's going in. So can you give us a little peek behind the curtain? What are you excited about for conference?
Well, there's so many things, Chris. That's a loaded question. I could go all day on that. Well, the coolest thing is something that you touched on. That it's about the size that Symmetry was just a couple years ago, and that's what's so neat, is that our convention is following Symmetry's convention. The only problem is nowadays, when you go to a Symmetry convention, like when we go on our April cruise in 2020, that convention is going to be 6,000 people. So for each and every one of y'all on the phone here to get real good quality time, with Edward Pritchett or Brian Delaney or Ryan Miller or Rob Puckett, it's going to be tough for you to get a hold of them for very long periods of time. The cool thing about our convention now, you're going to be able to get a hold, and you're going to be able to sit down with some of the top notch in our industry, like a John Ziller. He wrote $500,000 of AP in his first year. He's going to be front and center on our stage and very, very accessible throughout the crowd for 3 or 4 days. You got Miranda Martin, the top female writer, her first year. She won the Julie Rinaldi Award with doing like 400 and some thousand her first year. These type of people that you're going to be able to be uptight and close with. You might be riding an elevator up and down with a Carl Miller, who has just came in and just built a huge organization in just such a short amount of time. And, he's already at 110, and he's already getting equity bonus. And he's only been in the business for 3-4 years. It took me 6 years to get there. You're able to sit down, get close and personal with these giants in our organization, giants in really the insurance world. And you're able to get face-to-face time with these guys. So it's imperative to get to this, if I call it a smaller event, if it's going to be, 1,500 people is a smaller event, it's still smaller than cemeteries of 3,000. But guys, it'll be phenomenal to be there and be able to, the association with everybody will be incredible. Then you're talking about speakers. Now, the speakers we have lined up, bar none, I think are better than, and I better not say better, just as good as any cemetery convention has ever put out. I mean, having Hal Elrod, if you've read his books, having him on stage for an hour and a half, and then having the ability to sit down with him at lunchtime and ask him personal questions about his life. If you guys have read anything about his life, any of his books, he's a fascinating man. And, to be able to sit at lunch and have questions asked is worth it. So, get there, sign up for the luncheon. Those seats are going quick. You might want to jump on that today. But that's just a part of it. Then we're going to have a lot of Your Family Bank there. A large portion is going to be communicated about what's happening there. We may even, we put out a survey yesterday. We may even have a class there, a 2-day extended class, so that you can get certified, because these Your Family Bank programs, good Lord, guys, we have done probably $1 million of business in the first month with Your Family Bank. And it's powerful whenever you're able to present new programs like this that are exclusive to just us, whenever you look at the big IMOs. So, to have these people up close and personal, it's invalid to just be at these conferences and be around this. I'm so excited. Like I say, I can't wait to get there myself. And, it's just going to be a blast for me. And, the only part I got to do is talk, but I just talk all the time. So I don't do speeches. I just talk.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, love to hear you talk. So let me ask you this: the future of symmetry. I mean, you touched on it earlier. The company. Casey mentioned some of the things that they're looking at. The growth potential. What are you? And I know in the details, but what are you excited about for symmetry moving forward, and really the opportunity, how that relates to everybody, whether this is their first day tuning in to a call, they've been around here for a year or two, and they're trying to get over that hump and get to the next level. What's the future look like?
Well, as I mentioned, going from a $100 million company to a $300 million company in probably 2 years, and then probably a $500 million, probably 2 years after that, is very aggressive. And that's how Casey, Brandon, and Brian are. They've gone out and gotten some very special, unique things that are just proprietarized for our company, because we've gotten so big that we're actually, we're actually in the aggressive mode. I can't go into way detail here, but we're into some very aggressive mode of acquiring things, and it's going to happen quick. And the people who are taking advantage of it now are going to be extremely happy, because simply said is, we don't have enough people to do what we need to do to bring on some of these new projects that are coming down the road at this moment. That's why you heard Casey and Brandon talking about recruiting the last month or so. They very seldom ever talk about recruiting, but they have been so much involved with the projects that they're working on and about ready to roll out, is that the problem is we don't have enough people. We don't have enough people yet to roll these things out. I'm just telling you, just start getting that recruiting bandwagon on, and your progress is going to be a whole heck of a lot faster than me. That's for sure. And and I hope so. That's for sure.
That's an interesting thought, and to your point, Marshall, I think sometimes everyone on this call is a business owner, whether they realize it or not. Some people, coming from a W-2 job, as an agent, they don't even realize they're a business owner yet. And it kind of doesn't click with them right out of the gate. But, you know, one of the things being a business owner is sometimes you got to invest in the future with not really knowing what the future is going to look like. And you've got to put in some effort, some time, and, you know, just like any type of investment or farming where you got to throw a lot of seed out and then wait for it to pop up. Sounds like, you know, we got to do a lot of work and a lot of sowing for us to really reap those rewards in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll never say it's going to be easy. It's never easy for anybody that's made it to the higher levels here at Cemetery, but it's a very simple process. You know, follow the system and stay doing it all the time. You know, it's just, if you stop recruiting or stop selling for a week or two, what happens? You get downgraded for 2 or 3 weeks. It depresses you. Your income stops coming in. You stop placing ads or whatever, and all of a sudden your whole business goes to nothing so fast. So you've got to do it day in and day out, constantly be doing it. And yeah, it gets boring. It gets, you know what? I know Jacob and we were so bored just talking all the time, you know, every day when he was on his rush to get his wife out of a job, you know, just every day to basically just to pick him up, because, you know, he knew when we sat down and talked once, said, you know, Jacob, to do what you want to do, you know, for the next year, you're going to have to be on the phone from 9 o'clock in the morning until probably 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the following morning, because of people out west and so forth, to really get your wife out of a job. I said, are you willing to do that? Are you seriously willing to put that effort in to do that? And he said yes. And, you know, it wasn't like he was happy about it some days. Some days he was depressed about it. Some days he didn't want to do it, but he did it to go through it. He forced himself to become a better person and a great leader. And now he is. I mean, to me, you know, from the first year I got to meet him and hang out with him and get to know him, and to the day he is today, 2 completely different people. He's a champion. He's a winner. He's a leader, a big leader in this organization. Back then, he was kind of believing. So it might work, it might not. But once he got the belief, started getting a little bit of positively, started to really, really associate with the right people and really self-develop, his whole life changed. And that made his lovely wife's life change also, because she got out of her job, and Stacy now is just enjoying being a mother of 2 little baby dolls. So guys, it's worth the fight. It is not going to be easy. You know, cut your TV off for a year. See how that works for you. You know, do something crazy. Get crazy with this. Just go all in for once in your life. You know, I talk to so many people every day that never really put all in for a year, 2 years. Why? You know, do you want to be mediocre or average, or do you want to be spectacular? Do you want to be a champion to your family? Do you want your family to look at you as a star, as a great provider, as someone that is a philanthropist that would go out and donate time and money to charities? What do you want your family to remember you as? You know, who are you? Who can you become? You can do that in a year, 2 years, 3 years, to become anything you want here. Just go all in. Don't be putting a toe in. Those toes never work. You can take it from a guy that only has 5 of them.
Very good. Well, Marshall, I really appreciate your time this morning. I kind of ran through the thoughts and questions I had for you, but certainly appreciate you pouring into this team and sharing some really, you know, in a short period of time, a lot of powerful information. I hope everybody's taking notes and taking to heart what you were sharing. Any parting thoughts, anything that you would like to leave for the team, either related to the business or just upcoming conference?
How about anybody have any questions? You know, feel free to open up the mic and ask a question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anybody that's, in fact, let me just change the setting here, make sure everybody can unmute themselves. All right, I've changed the setting. Anybody needs to unmute themselves, feel free to throw out a question to Marshall. Down the bottom left of your corner, you'll see a little microphone. Hit that and fire away.
Hey, Marshall, this is John Paul Vetter. How are you, sir?
Hey, John Paul Vetter. I've been hearing lots of good things about you, my friend.
It's all rumor and conjecture, I can assure you.
Well, I appreciate you too.
I appreciate you being able to. Thank you. I appreciate you being able to jump on the call. Question I have is pretty straightforward. What's the fastest record time that somebody's made it to equity partner so far?
Fastest equity partner. That may have been Ryan Miller. Yeah, it must have been Ryan. I think he made it in like 2 years and a half. I think that
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
about 2.5 years.
Yep.
Awesome.
And he's doing about $1 million. He's doing about $1 million a month now. So, you know, that's not a bad income at that point. And I guess it's going on his 4th year right now. So
Absolutely.
$1 million a month. And if he's only doing 5% on his group, that's $50,000 a month. But I know he's doing a lot more than that.
Sure.
Income.
Absolutely. No, just curious. I wanted to make a note of that. Thank you.
You got it.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
You too, John.
Absolutely.
All right, just like an auction, we're going to close it out. Going once, going twice. Last opportunity.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for having me on your call. It's definitely an honor to be here. And if you guys, anybody ever needs anything, feel free to reach out to me. This is what we're here for. This is what Cemetery does. So just thank you for being who you guys are, and go out and do it. And just go out and protect families, and just have a kind heart for everybody you deal with. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, I appreciate you being on, Marshall. And for the rest of the team, we're going to wrap up here with a couple of announcements related to the upcoming conference. Like Marshall said, get there any way you can. If you're having trouble figuring out how to make the finances work, just reach out to us. I mean, like I said, we want to give everybody an opportunity to get there. So, don't let pride get in the way. Just contact us, let us know. We'll figure out a way to make it happen for you. Guarantee you this is the best investment you will make in your life. So do take advantage of that. Also, you may have seen the email that came out here this week. They are offering discounted box lunches. So if you're not going to the lunch with Hal Elrod, and actually I'm glad Marshall brought that up and reminded me, there is an opportunity if you want to get in on that. You can pay for a luncheon ticket to go sit in with Hal Elrod and listen. It's a private luncheon. Several people will be in the room, but he will be the featured guest at that lunch. However, if you elect not to get in on that, I do recommend you take advantage of the box lunch. It's $15 for the box lunch. There is a restaurant or two on site. However, there are several conferences going on. So the odds of you getting a table in the very short period of time we have in between meetings, I know how much I like to eat, and so I don't want all of you to have to go through the starvation and deprivation of not having enough food and then trying to focus on meetings for the afternoon. So make sure take advantage of that. We'll post that up again on GroupMe, the link to order those box lunches. And again, go back in your email. We did send an email out about that as well. So guys, take advantage of that. I can't stress enough. There's no restaurants close by. So again, if you don't do this, your odds of getting a table at the restaurant on site pretty slim. And you're probably not going to have enough time to get to a restaurant in the area, eat, and then get back and be able to attend meetings. So Highly recommend it. They worked out a really good price for that, and it really got some good selections for that lunch. So take advantage of that conference, guys. Holy cow, that is what, 3 weeks out? I lose track of the calendar here. I think it's 3 weeks out. So it's crunch time. If you haven't hit the done button, guys, what are you waiting for? Again, you know, this is you heard from the top person in the company, and I guarantee you he has never missed a training conference from day one to this point. Even at the level that he's running at, he still goes to each and every one. So if you're in this business and you say you're in this business because you want to be successful, then you will be at this meeting. No ifs, ands, or buts. Again, if you're having trouble, I get it. You know, you're brand new in the business. You're a new agent. You've got, you know, trying to get the wheels turning, trying to get started up. Just reach out to us. Reach out to your upline. Reach out to myself. Guys, we'll work with you and figure out a way to get you there. You know, we'll get creative. I promise you that. So, you know, and reach out privately. You know, we're not going to advertise anybody that needs assistance. Just reach out to us. We'll figure something out for you. So, all right, guys, I really appreciate each and every one of you on the call this morning and on this team. You guys are, you know, you guys are a huge reason that, you know, the agency as a whole keeps showing up on the leaderboards. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you. You know, we're all in this together, and by no means do I look at when we show up on the leaderboards as an agency, did I look at as anything I've accomplished. It's what you guys have done, and very grateful to have each and every one of you. I want to see you guys with me at conference. I can't tell you how important that is. That's an opportunity for us to, instead of, you know, having this video chat, which I love, have an opportunity to really get face to face and you know, build those deeper relationships. So guys, again, thank you for being on this morning. Look forward to seeing you in person in Tucson in 3 weeks. Get your tickets in. If you haven't, get signed up for the meals. Take advantage of that. And we're going to wrap up the call, set up a big week next week. Make sure you're pushing to get your appointments in, get your business written. You know, that last week of conference, I know several of you will be traveling, so you may lose a little bit of time. So you want to make sure you plan ahead for that. And you want to roll into conference with what we call a cash flow glow. You've got business pending in the bank, and you had a big month, and you go into conference excited and ready to take that information from conference and take your business to the next level. So guys, appreciate you all. We're going to wrap it up. Have a great weekend of dialing, and we will see you all next week.